Are you looking for a new running shoe that's going to provide you with an enjoyable running experience? In this video, I'm going to give my review of the ASICS Novablast running shoe. Coming up. Hey, what's up, Forever Runners? Jordan here from FOREVERun. And in this video, I'm going to be giving my review and final thoughts on the ASICS Novablast running shoe. I've put in about 140 miles or so in this shoe, so I feel like I have a pretty decent idea of what the shoe is and who it's for. And if you're interested in checking this shoe out on your own, I'm gonna go ahead and put a link in the description below for you to go ahead and check it out. All right, let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the price and get that out of the way. It retails at $129.95. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that at the end and my conclusion on whether I feel like this shoe is worth that price. So now for the features of this shoe. Starting with the upper, this is an engineered mesh upper. I found it to be really soft, kind of light feeling. I was a little concerned because I was coming from a shoe that had a wider toe box, so there's plenty of room for my toes to display in that shoe. And then I was going to this shoe that had a more traditional shaped toe box, and I was worried that this shoe would squeeze my toes and it wouldn't feel very comfortable. I didn't have any issues with that at all. It was really, really nice. It's also very airy and breathable. And so I think in this warmer weather, I think that you'll like that. It has these overlays here to give you a more secure lockdown over the midfoot. So that's nice. The heel cup is pretty stiff. And it's got a pretty supportive heel collar in here as well. I haven't really experienced any slipping in the shoe, although I do the heel lock lacing in just about all of my shoes. I'm going to post a link above for you to check out my heel lock lacing video. But anyway, I haven't had any issues there. I have heard some reviews on this shoe where some runners had some rubbing here at the Achilles and some blistering. I haven't had that at all. So I think it just depends on your individual foot. So yeah, good supportive heel here. Coming down to the midsole, ASICS has come out relatively new within the last year or so with their midsole foam. It's called Flight Foam Blast. It's got a great feel. It's kind of a bouncy trampoline-like feel, if that makes sense. But yet it still has a lot of cushion and it's soft feeling. Haven't experienced this with ASICS shoes before, this type of a feel, so I think it's a nice direction that they're heading with that. For the outsole, they use their AHR Plus rubber. It's a more durable version of their traditional outsole rubber that's supposed to be twice as durable, a lot more abrasion resistant. Now for the stack height, it's a pretty high cushion shoe. It has a 37 millimeter heel down to a 27 millimeter forefoot, so a 10 millimeter heel to toe drop there on the shoe. Now, as far as weight of this shoe, it's not bad. I wear a 10.5. A men's size 9, I believe, weighs 9.5 ounces. So this shoe is a little bit heavier than that. And then a women's size 8 weighs, I believe, 8.3 ounces. You can double check that in the link. But anyway, it's not too bad for a high cushion shoe. Yeah, it's fairly light for that level of shoe. Okay, so now to my pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. First off, the upper. I love the upper. I think it feels great. It is soft. It's light. It's airy. It just has a great feel on my toes. They don't feel crammed at all. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm used to, over the last few years, 2 to 3 years, wearing a shoe that has lots of toe room and lots of splay. It has the wide, the open toe box. And I was concerned coming into this shoe, but there were no issues at all for me. I wear a 10.5. Some people I've heard size down in this to a 10 because they feel like it was too big. I thought the size was perfect and that toe space was perfect. Now my second pro is the midsole foam. It has such a cool feel when you're running. It's a different feel than any shoes I've worn lately, at least in the last several years. It just has a great ride to it, a great bounce to it. Again, coming from this other shoe, that other shoe is a 0 drop. This has a 10mm drop. I was a little worried, and it was a little weird feeling at first when I started running and noticing that heel and just how cushioned it was at the heel there. Once I got going after a half mile to a mile or so, I just forgot about it and just got sucked into the ride and the bounce and the cushion and the feel. I've taken this about 140 miles now through fast paces, slow paces, all kinds of distances, and it's held its own. Just recently I did a long run, felt great, and then a couple weeks ago I did a 1 mile time trial in this shoe. I will say this is not a speed day shoe. I wouldn't say for you to go and get this shoe to do speed day workouts, but if you're looking for just kind of a one size fits all Swiss Army shoe, this can handle a lot of different paces, and I felt pretty decent in that 1 mile. I still had a little bit of pep in my step and some bounce. So really enjoyed the ride on this shoe. All right, now for the cons. The first thing that I noticed when I put the shoe on and started walking with it was how wobbly the heel felt. It was just, I just felt like my heel was going all over the place. Not in the shoe, but just the support. And I think it has to do with the cutouts here at the heel of the shoe. It's just really wobbly feeling when you're walking, when you strike that heel. This is definitely not a shoe that I'm going to use as a kick around walking shoe when I retire this from my running rotation. The other thing that's similar, on a similar note, is when you're running, this isn't a shoe, in my opinion, that will be a great option for any surfaces that aren't smooth or flat. It's a little bit unstable feeling when you're running. Again, I think it has a lot to do with the geometry here, the cutouts of the heel, and I think that's important too. I think that gives it some of its bounce, but I also think it gives it a feeling of instability at the heel too. And so running on trails, this is not a shoe that I'd be taking on the trail. Running on grass, that might be a little uneven, and also running fast and making turns, harder turns or sharper turns. Because this is really soft and roomy here up at the toe box, combined with the unstable feeling of the heel, it just feels a little sloppy making those turns. So this shoe, I think, is going to be better suited for your long, straight runs. This is a long, straight running shoe. And then the last con is pretty minor. The tongue on here, it's pretty wide. If it's just in the wrong position, it really pinches my ankle. It just puts a lot of pressure when I tighten up my shoe on the front of my ankle. I think that's a personal issue. That's just my ankle. Somebody else might not have that same issue. Just like somebody else had some Achilles issues, I didn't have that at all. So just take that for what it's worth. But for me, this tongue in the shoe would pinch a little bit. Now, before I go on to my conclusion and final thoughts on this shoe, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you're finding value out of this video. All right, let's get to my final thoughts. Besides that wobbly feel when I walk, or that instability feeling I get when I'm running on uneven surfaces, I really like this shoe. I've really enjoyed running in this shoe. I think that this shoe can handle, for most of us, almost any pace that we throw at it. Again, I don't think it's a racing shoe. I don't think this is a shoe that you're going to be running your next 5K in. Maybe you'll choose to run in a shoe like this, but it does have its strengths and its weaknesses. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife. But if you're looking for a good all-around, high cushion, bouncy feel, that's going to get you a lot of miles on the road. I think this is going to give you an enjoyable run, an enjoyable ride. I definitely think that this is something that is worth having in your running shoe rotation. If you're not somebody who's able to get a daily trainer, a speed day shoe, a racing shoe, a trail shoe, a long run shoe, forget the trail shoe part. I think that this shoe can handle most of those tasks for you really well, and I think you'll enjoy it. Now, as far as the price point, the $130 price point, I think it's a thumbs up. I think it's worth it. It's a great shoe that I've enjoyed. I may even get a second pair in the future, so definitely go check it out in the description below. All right, Forever Runners, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe and check out my unboxing and first run video for the Asics Novablast. I think you're gonna like it. Until next time, I'm Jordan from FOREVERun, providing you with some of my favorite tips and tools to keep you running happier, healthier, and for longer. We'll see you then.